mayoralty.
There was no sort of favorite waiting in the wings, ready to go. Meaning the race was wide open. So anyone to jump in.
Were upset, and people were tired of City Hall. And that's why I knew this area was ripe for someone.
He's a controversial councillor, known for saying things that were not politically correct.
If you're not doing either, you're not age, you won't get age probably.
One day I started talking to him, he said, I'm gonna run for mayor, buddy. And I was like, no, Rob, don't do that, you know you're gonna lose, you have no chance.
6 weeks work, because I didn't think Rob Ford could go very far. But Doug and Rob were very close. Doug obviously had enormous influence because he was the older brother and the campaign manager. There was always an understanding that this.
I feel that stuff makes me
Always
feel.
trying to, you know, please his father.
That stuff makes me feel way
Why
too
don't
good.
you shut your
Because
mouth?
For business, so the only thing left for him to please his dad was to go into politics. Doug Ford had sketched out
But through social media, we amassed a bunch of our supporters, and what we were going to do is march to City Hall
We're gonna have team in about 5 minutes. We're gonna walk
to talk about. Look at this.
It was brilliant free publicity on launch day, and
I was the only daily news reporter there. But I walked in,
the people that came out to support him was a cross-section of the city of Toronto.
I think he's a man of
His father called Rob Ford, he came to the house, he looked at the tree, and he mediated sort of a solution. So he got things done on
We need somebody who can stand for what we believe in. Come on, Toronto, Rob Ford for mayor.
The love, the power.
I'm hooked on the guy, okay? Ready? I'm ready.
So they started to dig into his past.
Ford has faced scrutiny over an
Hockey game while drunk.
But despite all of those stories, his popularity did just keep growing.
People are sick of ways.
They went to the Copper Center, which is where we started the whole thing, and thousands of people were there.
We were having to push and shove. Literally could almost not breathe.
I have heard that over the years for his very breaking populist positions on issues. For the first year, he was able to get his agenda passed. He just said, if you agree with me, I'll work with you, and if you don't, I will destroy you.
Until I realized, well, I don't get market without being able to see it.
he eventually leaves, and I think
Rob Ford
demonizing the media years before Donald Trump did the same thing was extremely effective.
Glass pipe. Holy shit. And then they wanted to sell it to us for $100,000.
Welcome, according to some, on city council.
This is the chief magistrate of our great city. And
Toronto Police Chief Bill Blair came out and said, we've got the crime.
Gun smuggling raid after a horrible shooting in Toronto. And ultimately, it was the individuals targeted.
What about you?
Take taxpayers' money and run great government that was running for the last 3 years. So I
Was particularly damaging for the mayor then, a man named David Miller.
The mayor, quite frankly, isn't showing very much leadership in this dispute. The guard is striking.
As a friend of Rob Ford, I phoned him right away. I said, Rob, you gotta run. He says, you think so, buddy? Political life. He considered himself a public servant. He worked for the people.
word was they wanted to be represented, and they weren't represented.
said, will you come on as the chief of staff?
Oh, here's a Rob Ford sticker from Deco, which was the company at the time. That man was somebody.
You can't vodka that. You could, like, you've been consistently getting past walls.
It would have 5,000 people out. I laughed. I didn't laugh out loud. I laughed quietly because I've never seen a political event that was more than a couple hundred people. 5,000 seemed to be ridiculous.
A TV studio. So we walked by the TV studio.
Personable and interesting. So I thought, well, of course, I should cover this. And I'll admit, I drove out to Etobicoke not knowing what to expect.
When there was about 2,000 people there, would be my estimate. He gets up onto the stage and says, thank you so much for coming. Wow, 5,000. Looked around that room, and there were Bay Street bankers, and there were bus drivers.
I've heard of almost everybody he meets, and he says, if you have any problems, call me.
A colleague of mine tells me a story about
Everybody. It didn't matter if you were in his ward. It didn't matter anywhere in the city.
For the first time, I thought, I think this guy could win.
The media was.
Him of lying about a possession of marijuana charge.
I made a mistake, I'm only human, and I don't know what more to say, I apologize.
That apology from.
He was having a lot of trepidation that this didn't work, that he screwed it up.
Pretty clear from the results we have so far that he has won this race. For is the mayor elect in Toronto.
I felt like a vindication because a lot of people didn't think he could do it.
The first day on the job was quite incredible. We were outsiders all that time, and now we are insiders.
I came to.
And about to take that Rob Ford was a sober. And he has since on the record saying that he's been asked to leave.
The front page story on the Toronto Star alleges Rob Ford as a win from Scarborough.
Ford took out, and they went.
And Star is generally considered a progressive paper, and he was conservative in a lot of ways.
They're relentless, that's fine. I'll go ahead with the power story time.
And he would ramp it up every time he knew that there might be another scandal.
One day, that was work bad. But yeah, I mean, I handled it as professionally as I could and said, okay, well, tell me more. Can I see it? Can we meet? I remember that they wouldn't let us hold the phone. Like they were holding the phone, kind of showing it to us. But when the screen turned on, it was just so obvious.
We all gathered in the Toronto Star newsroom to figure out what we needed before we could publish the story without
He went to rehab, and so at that point I started to change every conversation that I had with him. You need to go to rehab. And I knew then that by giving him only that choice, he would either eventually give in.
On the police source, he said, are you near a TV? You're going to want to watch this press conference in half an hour.
That file contains video images, which appear to be those images which were previously.
I was smoking serious drugs there.
That's what started this second wave of chaos at Toronto City Hall.
No, you know what? No. No reason to be fine.
surface. And it got even worse. Then all of a sudden, international media's there. You know, I'm trying to do my work at the front desk, and I had to.
Canadian police, so they've seen a video, appearing to show the mayor of Toronto smoking a crack pipe. He became the punchline to jokes on late night talk shows.